Hello, MPH families. Here we are, Friday afternoon, the end of week 5. It's been another very good week for us at MPH. We're slowly but surely trying to do a little bit more every day, every week, but we're going to proceed slowly and cautiously because we've built a good foundation here for success, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So thank you for understanding and thanks for your patience. I want to share a conversation that I had with several of my colleagues with an official at Syracuse University. And this is a person who is very much involved in leading their pandemic response and all of their protocols. Obviously, SU is a much different place, 30,000 people compared to our roughly 400 who show up here every day. And yet we're still eager to learn as many good lessons as possible. Two things I want to pass along that we felt were really instructive. The first is Syracuse is using exactly the same protocols that we have in place in our classrooms. And as they have been able to trace a number of positive COVID cases there, what they have found is that not one instance has actually occurred in a classroom. So no transmission has happened inside the classroom experience for their students. So that's good news. It tells us that we've got some good protocols in place, and we're going to stick to those. What they did learn at SU, though, is that for the vast majority of the cases that they have been able to trace, those are happening, the origins of those cases are happening outside of the university. So they're trying to create a protective dome or a bubble over the university. We're trying to do the same thing here. For SU, what has been the sort of primary culprit is that students or adults are traveling outside of the area, maybe to areas where there's a higher transmission rate, and they're getting infected, they're coming back, and then they're infecting people within the SU bubble. So I just thought that was interesting. We are thinking not only about our immediate experience day to day, but we're looking out to the horizon as well. I'm thinking about November and December during the holidays when families typically will travel to visit with family members. And just keeping that in mind, I'd ask all of you to keep that in mind when you travel to different areas, and then as you think about upcoming holiday travel. We will likely try to create some guidance for our families, just guidance, not, there's no command performances necessarily. The whole understanding here is that we're part of a social compact, and we're all going to do the best we can to contribute positively to it. So anyway, the other concept I wanted to share with you is just one that's related to a term called allostatic load. Now, I had never heard of that concept before the pandemic. In a similar way to I'd never heard of social distancing before the pandemic. So we're learning a lot. But allostatic load is the phenomenon that affects the body negatively when you're under a situation that's providing chronic stress. Now, we are getting accustomed to this lifestyle, I suppose, but I think it's also safe to assume that we're all experiencing a general sort of sense of stress as it relates to life during a global pandemic. Yes, we have to learn with it, and we're doing the best we can with that. But I mention that because we have very intentionally here, we've been sensitive to that, and we want to make sure that we're not adding unnecessarily any unnecessary stress to our students and to our families. We also want to make sure that we're able to not contribute unnecessarily to the stress levels for our colleagues here. I mention this only because while we do appreciate your outreach and a request here and there for maybe exceptions to the rule, we know that we disappoint some folks at times when we say that we can't do that. And I mention this to give you context for why it is that we say no at times. It's because we don't want to contribute unnecessarily to any kind of stress, and we don't have the staffing capacity to accommodate every exception to the rule. We do when we can. We want to be reasonable at every turn, but our first commitment is to be responsible and do everything we can to keep a really healthy and safe environment for your kiddos, our students. And we think they're having a really good experience. We want to maintain that throughout. We want to expand our offerings slowly but surely, and so that's what we'll do. And I hope you understand that. And now we have a long weekend to look forward to. So I'm ready to relax a little bit, to get away, and we'll get ready for a great week next week as well. All right, be safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.